King English Podcast. Easy English podcast for beginners.
3,535 people dead in just seconds. That is the death toll from the twin earthquakes that struck Venezuela. Nearly 18,000 people are now homeless and over 16,000 injured. This is not a movie. This is real life. Today we are learning English with this shocking news headline. You will learn powerful vocabulary words that native speakers actually use. You will improve your listening skills with real-world content, and you will understand how to talk about disasters in English. So stay with me until the end. This video will change the way you learn. Let me tell you what happened in Venezuela on June 24th. Two massive earthquakes struck within seconds of each other. The first one measured 7.2 on the Richter scale. The second one was even stronger at 7.5. They hit the capital city Caracas and the coastal area La Guaira. Buildings collapsed like houses of cards in a strong wind. Thousands of people were trapped under the rubble of their own homes. Rescue teams worked day and night to pull survivors from the wreckage. But for many families, it was already too late. The death toll has now risen to 3,535. Almost 18,000 people remain homeless more than 1 week later. They are staying in overcrowded shelters with limited access to clean water. Health officials are warning about the risk of disease outbreaks. Respiratory infections and diarrhea are already spreading in some shelters. The government is facing growing criticism for its slow and inadequate response. Now, why did I choose this story for your English lesson today? Because this headline contains some of the most useful vocabulary in English. Words like death toll, homeless, shelters, and response. These are words you will hear in news reports all around the world, and learning them will make you sound more fluent and natural. So let's dive into the vocabulary and break everything down. The first word is death toll. This means the number of people who have died. We use this phrase specifically for disasters, accidents, or wars. For example, the death toll from the earthquake has reached 3,000. You can also say, the death toll is rising, or the death toll has climbed. This is a very common phrase in English news reporting. Next we have the word homeless. This describes people without a home. In the article, nearly 18,000 people are now homeless. You can say homeless people or the homeless as a group. For example, the earthquake left thousands of families homeless. This word is also used for people living on the streets in general. The third word is shelters. These are temporary places where people can stay. Shelters can be schools, community centers, or even large tents. In Venezuela, over 12,000 people are staying in 80 shelters. For example, the government set up emergency shelters for the victims. Shelters provide basic needs like food, water, and a place to sleep. Number 4 is response. This means how someone reacts to a situation. The government's response has been criticized as slow and inadequate. You can have a quick response, a military response, or an emergency response. For example, the international community praised their rapid response. This word is used in business, politics, and everyday conversation. Next, we have rescue. This means to save someone from a dangerous situation. Rescue teams worked tirelessly to pull survivors from the collapsed buildings. You can say rescue mission, rescue worker, or search and rescue, for example. The rescue operation lasted for more than 72 hours. This is a very powerful and emotional word in English. Number 6 is survivors. These are people who have survived a disaster. Survivors of the earthquake are now living in temporary shelters. You can also say survival as a noun or survive as a verb. For example, the survivors were grateful to be alive. This word gives hope even in the darkest situations. The 7th word is criticism. This means expressing disapproval of something. The Venezuelan government is facing mounting criticism over its response. You can face criticism, receive criticism, or come under criticism. For example, the mayor faced heavy criticism for his handling of the crisis. This is a very common word in political and social discussions. Number 8 is inadequate. This means not enough or not good enough. The government's response has been described as slow and inadequate. For example, the supplies sent to the area were completely inadequate. The opposite is adequate, which means sufficient or acceptable. This word is useful for describing many situations in life. The ninth word is magnitude. This measures the strength of an earthquake. The first quake had a magnitude of 7.2 on the Richter scale. You can also use magnitude to describe the size or importance of something. For example, we didn't realize the magnitude of the problem at first. This word adds sophistication to your English vocabulary. Finally, we have collapsed. This means falling down suddenly and completely. Buildings collapsed like houses of cards during the earthquake. You can say, the building collapsed, or the roof collapsed. For example, the bridge collapsed under the weight of the trucks. This is a strong visual verb that native speakers use frequently. Let me quickly recap all 10 vocabulary words for you. 1. Death toll. 2. Homeless. 3. Shelters. 4. Response. 5. Rescue. 6. Survivors. 7. Criticism. 8. Inadequate. 9. Magnitude. 10. Collapsed. Write these down and try to use them in your own sentences today. Repetition is the key to memorizing new vocabulary effectively. Now let's look at some important grammar from this news story. Understanding grammar helps you speak and write with more confidence. We will focus on 3 key structures used in the article. These are the passive voice, the present perfect tense, and modals. Let's break each one down with clear examples. First, the passive voice. This is used when the action is more important than the actor. In the article, 3,500 people were killed. We don't say the earthquake killed 3,000 people. We say were killed because we focus on the victims, not the earthquake. Another example, emergency shelters were set up across the city. The passive voice is very common in news and formal writing. Structure. Subject plus to be plus past participle. The victims were rescued by the emergency teams. Practice making passive sentences with the vocabulary you just learned. Second, the present perfect tense. This connects the past to the present. In the article, the death toll has risen to 3,500. We use has risen because the number is still relevant right now. Another example, nearly 18,000 people have been displaced. The present perfect is formed with have or has plus the past participle. We use it for past actions with present results or unfinished time periods. For example, rescue teams have worked for over a week without stopping. This tense is essential for natural English conversation. Third, we have modals. These are helper verbs like can, must, and should. In the article, health officials are warning about the risks that may arise. May expresses possibility or uncertainty about the future. Another example, the government should have responded more quickly. Should expresses obligation or advice about what was the right thing to do. Modals help you express probability, necessity, and permission. Practice using may, might, should, and must in your sentences. These small words make a big difference in your English fluency. To summarize, we learned the passive voice for focusing on actions. We learned the present perfect tense for connecting past and present. And we learned modals for expressing possibility and obligation. These 3 structures will make your English much more advanced. Now let's work on your pronunciation with words from this lesson. Good pronunciation helps you sound clearer and more confident. We will focus on 3 sounds that are often difficult for learners. These are the th sound, the r sound, and word stress. First, the th sound. This appears in words like death and thousand. To make this sound, place your tongue between your teeth and blow air. Death. D-E-A-T-H. Thousand. T-H-O-U-S-A-N-D. Practice. The death toll has reached 3,000. This sound does not exist in many languages, so it needs extra practice. Listen carefully and repeat after me. Death, thousand, 3. Second, the R sound. This appears in words like rescue and response. For the American R, curl your tongue back without touching the roof. Rescue. R-E-S-C-U-E. Response. R-E-S-P-O-N-S-E. Practice. The rescue response was criticized as inadequate. The R sound is very important for sounding natural in English. Repeat after me. Rescue, response, survivors, earthquake. Third, word stress. This means emphasizing the correct syllable in a word. For example, magnitude, stress on the first syllable. Inadequate, stress on the second syllable. Collapsed, stress on the second syllable. Getting the stress right makes you much easier to understand. Practice. Magnitude, inadequate, collapsed. Now let's test your listening comprehension with a short exercise. I will read a sentence from the news story and you write it down. Listen carefully. The death toll from the twin earthquakes has risen to 3,535. Pause the video, write that sentence down, and check your spelling. This exercise trains your ear to understand natural spoken English. Next, let's practice speaking with the shadowing technique. I will say a sentence, and you repeat it immediately after me. Try to copy my pronunciation, stress, and intonation exactly. The government is facing growing criticism over its response. Nearly 18,000 people remain homeless after the disaster. Shadowing is one of the fastest ways to improve your speaking fluency. Now I have a challenge for you. This is your chance to practice. Take one of the vocabulary words from today's lesson. Write your own sentence using that word in the comments below. For example, the death toll from the flood is still unknown. I will read your sentences and give you feedback on your grammar. This is how you move from passive learning to active using. If you enjoyed learning English with the news, you will love my next video. Tomorrow, we will look at another shocking headline from around the world. We will learn even more vocabulary and practice real-world English. Make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell right now. You don't want to miss the next lesson in this 30-day series. Part 7, Outro. Let's quickly review everything we learned in today's video. We learned 10 powerful vocabulary words from a real news headline. We studied 3 important grammar structures: passive voice, present perfect, and modals. We practiced 3 pronunciation points: the th sound, the r sound, and word stress. And we did listening and speaking exercises to reinforce your skills. Learning English with the news is one of the most effective methods available. It gives you real-world vocabulary and natural language and context. Remember, fluency comes from consistent practice, not from being perfect. So take what you learned today and use it in your daily life. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe. Share this video with a friend who is also learning English. And don't forget to complete the challenge in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Keep learning, keep practicing, and never give up on your English goals.